Good evening, my friends. How is everybody doing this evening? I have a super cute wreath for us tonight. Let's talk about the supplies we're going to use. Good evening, Miss Lynn and Kelly and T. All right, so what we have here, we're going to use a super carrot ribbon. We are going to use the embossed floral ribbon in orange. So with that, we are going to use a super cute bunny bouquet. We're going to use farmhouse plaid jute mesh. Okay. And then we have some carrots. Got to have some carrots for the bunny, right? We have some greenery. Go with that. And then some mushrooms. All right. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, so we don't have to wait for it later on when we're ready to attach, is we're going to get our bunny ready to go on our wreath. Hello, my friends. As y'all know, these things just don't work. We're going to cut them off. Occurred to me, I just plugged my hot glue gun in and it's probably not hot enough. We're going to sidetrack for a minute and get our board ready. We'll come right back to this. Okay. I'll go ahead and cut these off. And usually I kind of make sure that they are in there really good before I cut them off. Those don't work that well either. Hello, everybody. Sometimes these move, and that's why I always double check it. And then that wire on the inside of the ear, what I'm doing is that wire is pinched together like it is on the outside. It's just crammed up in there, which isn't going to give my ear shape in the long run. So I'm feeling for that wire and I'm pulling it apart so that the ear itself will have better shape. Otherwise, it won't. It'll be floppy and it just won't work, y'all. See how that just flops around, and when you go to shape it, it's not going to work as well. Also, my ear's not that pointed, so we'll finish turning it right side out with the wire. Sometimes the things that we do to make wreaths are a little bit tedious, but it's the outcome that matters most. So take your time, be tedious, it's okay. Don't let anyone judge you for that. Okay, so the oval board is pretty large, and I wanted large for this product. Now you can just go ahead and use a large round, but look how big this is. So I wanted some size to go with him to add goodies. I do recommend if you just use a large round, you're really not going to need the goodies and stuff. So, but what I'm going to do And I'm going to go ahead and do it, and I may not need it. So because I may not need it, I'm going to put it on the back side of the board. But I kind of want it here just in case, my friends. I'm going to add a rectangle board to this. And I've done it before to add things. Isn't it cute? Now, these will be in stock this Friday at Unique in the Creek. So be patient, my friends. They will be here this Friday. We're just going to take a zip tie. Now, I had thought about, because sometimes you can use a zip tie itself, up and down and across your board, but the zip tie is not strong enough to hold this large of a wreath attachment by itself, so that's why I am using the rectangle board to bridge the gap. Like I said, I may not need it. But I'd rather go ahead and put it on now than later, because once I get all my mesh and stuff on, and then I'm like, darny poo. It's kind of inconvenient. We'll just go ahead and put it on right now. That's okay. If you call me a hoe, just know I'm a high-paid one. Okay. Make sure that if you do cut your zip ties on the outside of your board, that you put them down as flat as possible so they're not going to scratch doors. Okay. Okay. We are going to need 20 pipe cleaners. To load our board. This is going to be so cute. And I follow instructions so well. Oops. Just occurred to me I did something that I'm not supposed to do anymore, but I will fix that next time. Alright, so what I do typically, I'm going to take, and I take 4 pipe cleaners. That just works best for me to get them apart. And it also gives me a chance to count again to make sure I have the right amount of pipe cleaners, because I should have 5 stacks. Now, Santa didn't think about getting me a new pair of cutters. We're still working with the old and busted. Well, they still work, but yeah. All right, so let's get our board loaded up so we can get down to cutting our mesh and get our board ready to go and make a super cute, fun wreath. Okay? So we're going to start here and then go every other. Yeah, we can't fire Santa. Santa does, you know, does do the shopping. Speaking of Santa, I think he's into the house, so hopefully the dogs won't bark. All right, so we're going to go every other again on the inside. And then what I'm going to do is going to be a little bit difficult, y'all, but I'm just doing this to make sure things are even. And in case I cut this off, I'm going to raise it because that kind of hurt my finger a little bit, but that's what I'm going to do. This other pipe cleaner off, on. I'm not sure that we'll need it, but it's easier to put it on now than later. Because later I could end up going and smashing my ribbons and mesh, and I don't want to do that. Alright, so for those of you who need a screenshot, this is how we're loading our board, and I just caught autofocus on, so let's take care of that real quick. Name on autofocus. There we go. Taken care of real quick. And back to the business of making the wreath. So I'm going to whoop around here really quick and secure my pipe cleaners in. And, you know, these steps that I take, it's kind of no different than when you choose to use zip ties. Because you got to load your zip ties and give them that little bit of lock. I'm like, I feel like I haven't made a wreath in forever, even though I made one like last week. I'm kind of ready to get back into the whole rhythm of making wreath. All right, so my pipe cleaner's on the outside. I'm aiming them more toward the inside of the board. And I'm doing that for coverage. Alright. Get our mesh cut. That little Mr. Goonie aside for now. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut 10 pieces of mesh, 20 inches, and that's going to be for the outside. So 10 pieces, 20 inches. And then we are going to just ruffle those on. And what I like to do is I like to go around and open my pipe cleaners to get them ready. And we're just going to roll that down one time and then ruffle. And what that's going to do is prevent your mesh from fraying. Makes it a little bit floofier too. Because I don't want to be a flat wreath, and the reason we don't want it to be flat is because I don't want the wreath attachment looking like it's just sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. I love the look of the farmhouse. Cute mesh. Ruffle the night away. You know, I realize that winter just started, but I am ready for spring. Now, if I could figure out how to get spring without snakes, I would be in heaven. Because that's one of the few things that I like about winter, is that I know I can walk out of my house and there's not going to be a snake on my doorstep. So that's kind of why I embrace winter a little bit. And I try not to complain too much about winter. Where's everybody from? See, New York. I am from Kentucky. For those of you that are new here, my name is Jackie. I'm one of the designers here with the Unique in the Creek. Well, here in Kentucky, we just kind of really now got started with the cold, so I can't really complain. This is the jute farmhouse plaid mesh. All right, so now we got the outside, so we're going to cut 10 pieces of mesh, 15 inches, and that's going to go on the inside. Okay. Okay. So here we go on the inside. And the mesh does not need to be as long on the inside because the ties are closer together. So we're just doing a one roll up. That's going to prevent fraying. No, I'm not sick. I am riddled with allergies. I don't know what is going on. I took my allergy medicine an hour ago, and believe me, it's more kicked in than, like, it was worse. My eyes were watering, everything was streaming. I have an allergy medicine. I've got one that I take in the morning and one that I take at night. It's fun. I would think as cold as it is, I wouldn't be having problems with allergies, but yes, here I am. I'm kind of wondering if it has something to do with my AC unit going out this summer, and there was like pollen and allergens trapped in my heat vent system. So we're getting ready to. There's a cleaner, not a cleaner, but it's like a anti-allergen or whatever. That thing that we can blow through our vents to see if that's what it is. Hey, you get Lori all weekend. You get Lori Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Is that correct, Lori? Weekend marathon with Lori. It's a kit making marathon this weekend. All right. Look how full and pretty that is. One of these days, I might get my husband on here to try making a wreath, y'all. He is laughing like a lunatic at that one. Okay, so just a quick little recap of what we have going on here. All right. So what we have here is I'm using a rectangle, oval board with a rectangle in the center. Now, the reason I put the rectangle in the center is I may need it for this cute little guy to attach it. Okay? He's super cute. All right. And he's got little boony ears. All right. And what I did was I zip tied that on. All right. The mesh around the outside is cut 20 inches. The mesh on the inside is cut 15 inches. All right. Now we're going to roll on to our ribbon. But real quick, so this is ready. and it's all cooled off to attach to the wreath, we're going to go ahead and get him ready, okay? Y'all, I think with encouragement, we might be able to get my husband to make a wreath with us one day with some encouragement. He said lots of chocolate. I think I can do that. Okay, to keep this from flopping around my friends, and to also help pose him later on, because I like to bend the legs up. So we're going to go ahead and bend the legs up a bit. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a pipe cleaner here in the knee, because otherwise this will just flop around on the wreath board. We can't just have and to make sure that my felt doesn't tear, that's why we're doing this in advance, I'm going to pop a little hot glue on those spots. Yes! That's what I saw. That's why I'm doing this, so people can, like, this Friday, these will be in stock at Unique Creek. Where I purchased it from, they are out of stock. So that's why I didn't mention it, but good thing. That's why I went ahead and did it, because Lori's got these coming in Friday. Along with, along with a ribbon, y'all, a new ribbon. It's new this year. I absolutely, love it. I can't wait to get this ribbon. I immediately fell in love with this ribbon. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. So, I can't wait, y'all. Alright, so now we need some pipe cleaners for our ears. And once again, we're going to poke a hole. We just need one pipe cleaner for the ears. Chocolate is a great motivator for my husband. It works pretty well. Alright, y'all, let's get our measure buddy out and get our ribbon cut. We're going to cut our ribbon 14 inches. And the reason we're cutting our ribbon 14 inches is because we're adding other stuff. Now, if you don't want to add other stuff, you don't have to. You only need to cut your ribbon 12 inches, okay? Not everybody likes to load their wreaths up the way that I do. That's fine. And we're going to start out with 10 of each. Oopsie. I love this embossed ribbon, y'all. It is great, great ribbon. I used a lot of this also at Christmas. No, this isn't a kit. And we're going to do 10 of the carrots. I'm a little early on Easter, y'all. Just a little bit. Kind of makes me feel warm to do some spring-like wreaths. And right now, when it's like cold and dreary outside, making spring-like wreaths is my favorite thing because it just kind of makes it bright. I don't think we're going to need ribbon around the inside. Okay, so Lori says that she'll have all this stuff that I'm putting in the wreath, except for the mushrooms. I know she won't have that in stock this Friday. So if you're wanting a kit, she can put together a kit with the bunny butt. But I would recommend it on the large board. And even on the large board, y'all, you can do the same thing that I'm doing. So Lori's here. They'll be very, very vocal typing in. If you want this as a kit, you better let her know now, today, so she can get it prepared, as all the supplies will be here Friday. I love this ribbon, y'all. I just My friends, it is always better to be late to the party than not show up at all. It is cold. It is cold, my friends. It's cold everywhere, I think, right now. But unusually strange because I don't think Lori's getting snow in Canada, but we're getting snow and snowstorm here in Kentucky. Like, we're expected to have more snowstorms rolling in tomorrow night. My daughter's here on the live, y'all. She's watching. I think she's being my adult supervision. That's okay. Take all I can get. I'm using the outside for the placement. I went every other. If you go back and watch the replay, Ms. Barb, it shows you where I put my pipe cleaners, and that's where I'm putting my ribbon. So next up, I get the ribbon tails on here. We're going to go ahead and make our bow and get it placed, and then add our wreath attachment. I'm here to tell y'all, be prepared this Friday. Tons of new product dropping. Be ready to shop, my friends. Let me get my bow maker down here. All right. So we're going to twist a couple pipe cleaners together for our bow. And because my wreath attachment is large, I'm going to make a fairly large bow. Just a reminder, in case you do watch the replay, I'll tell you that today is Wednesday, January 8th. Okay? And this will be in stock Friday, along with most of the stuff and that I'm using in this wreath tonight. I'm going to start trying to let y'all know the dates, those that watch the replay, so they don't think, what? Some people might be watching the replay a month later. Alright, so like I said, because the wreath attachment is large, I am going to make a fairly large bow. And once again, just a reminder, if you're wanting Lori to put together a kit with this, speak now or forever hold your peace. The demand has to be high enough in order for her to scurry and do that, y'all. Alright, so I'm going to use 4 loops of the 1.5 because it is smaller and we're at the bottom of the bow, and like I said, I want this to be a larger bow. Aw. I thought... Where'd it go? There it went. I'm over here banging around for another ribbon. Sorry about that, yo. You'll see that there's only 24 of these coming in, so y'all better run. This Friday, supplies will be released at about 1 o'clock. We're going to put some Swiss dot in here. And once again, I'm going to do 4 loops of it. Now, the reason I only did 1 loop of the orange is because it's kind of plain. And it would pretty much so stick out like a sore thumb, and I didn't want that. Plus, we've got orange to fill in the gaps with the carrots. Alright, so now we're going to do 2 loops of the orange. Then we're going to do 2 loops of the carrots. Alright, now that our bow is ready, crisscross applesauce your pipe cleaner. That's what's going to make it easier to get your bow off. And while it's on here, you kind of want to tighten that down as much as you can to pull your bow off. Alright, and once you have your bow off, you're going to want to grip this thing if you can. If you can't, use a zip tie to do this part, okay? But you want to tighten this down as much as you possibly can. Okay? Now, before I put my bow on, I got to do one thing. And it's the one thing that makes Lori's heart sing. I have to add my 1 zip tie, my friends, and the reason I'll add it now is so, like later on, I don't take a chance on smashing my wreath. Also, that way I know where the top is. Haha. Alright. So here's the top of my wreath. We're going to put the bow off to the side. We're not going to put it directly at the top because that'll look... no. We're going to kind of put it off to the side. Like a so. Okay, and because the bow is so big, we're going more toward the bottom center. Right about here, right here, right here. Or that would be the 3rd row. Row C. Yep, row C. All right. Pull our bow into our wreath, not too tight, but you don't want to pull it in too tight because then you're smashing your ribbon, but you want to pull it into your wreath. I take the leftover pipe cleaner, I tuck it back up through a hole so the back of my board stays nice and clean. Now we're going to fluff this bow what I typically do. Okay. We're going to do this is basically what's called a terry bow, the way we're going to fluff this. Because we're going to use our tails to be part of the bow. So I'm going to pull my tail up and then my loop down. On the other side with the same ribbon, I'm going to pull my tail down and my loop up. So you're going to alternate your tails and loops like so. All right. With the rows that we did 2 loops, we're going to pull our loops pretty far apart and leave our tail in the center. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we've got some ribbons that are a little bit too long. So we're going to trim those up just a smidge. So you see how this ribbon is just so far past the bow? We're going to trim that down. So it's kind of what you're doing. You don't want your tails and so far past the bow that it's like, no. No. Alright, so now we're ready to put our bunny wreath attachment on. And we're going to sneak him up under the bow just a bit. Just a smidge like so. Okay, we don't want him covered up, but we just want him covered up just a smidge. And yes, we're going to end up using the rectangle board. And I will show you where I pulled him in just a minute. Now you can apply, once again, you can apply this same technique that I'm doing. Okay, using a large board. I just kind of wanted to show y'all, if you wanted to make like a really super large wreath, how to do it. And you're going to pull him in as tight as possible. Here in just a second, I will flip him over and show you where I secured him in it on the rectangle board. Okay, so I went to row H, or depending on how you did it, row C, but 3 rows down is where I secured him in. And then, as always, I'm going to take my pipe cleaner. And this is what I do, y'all. I just tuck it back in. to keep the back of the board nice and clean. All right. So now we have to put our knees down, and the knees are going to go into the oval board. So depending on where you made your, where you want to secure your, how you want to pose your bunny will depend on where you attach this into the board. But you have to attach the bottom part, the knees, so that it doesn't go flopping around the board, because it will. You don't want it flopping around. Now the one knee I pulled down pretty tight, because that's the appearance that I want. This other knee, I'm not going to pull down so tight. I kind of like the goosey-goosey kind of look here. But I'm still going to secure the knee down so that it's not flopping around. So at first, when I pull my pipe cleaner down, it's going to look like it's pretty tight until I actually secure the pipe cleaner together and then pull the knee back up. Isn't that super cute, y'all? All right, so notice I'm pulling the knee back up now that I secured the pipe cleaner. Like I told you, I kind of wanted it, I didn't want to pull it down, because if I pull it down, it's going to look just like the other one. I kind of wanted to give it a little different look. All right. So we kind of messed our bow up a little bit, putting him in. That's okay. So we're just going to go back and fluff our bow a bit. And now we are ready to rock and roll and add our greenery, my friends. Now this is the kind of greenery which is my favorite. You can push it up a bit. And I'm just pushing it up a bit. Not much this time. All right, so this is a lightweight greenery. Some of you might decide to zip tie it in. Some of you may hot glue it in. It is personal choice. I'm going for the hot glue method because y'all don't have all day to watch me, right? Now, if you wanted to make sure everything's secure, excuse me, I'm so sorry, you can hot glue and tie in with the pipe cleaner. So just put your hot glue on, and then you want to make sure that you really take your end, your tip, and cram it down into the mesh. You have got to make sure that it really goes down into that mesh. And then just for added measure, you can take your pipe cleaner and tie that in. And at the same time, when I do that, I'm done with the pipe cleaner, so I'm just going to tuck it out of the way. Thank y'all. I thought it was pretty cute. Go away. And it's really important too when you're using hot glue, y'all. Fix your ribbons as you go, just in case you dabbed hot glue where you may not want it. I'd rather have my ribbon stuck where I want it as opposed to stuck to where I don't want it. New supplies. New kits will be available this Friday. The 10th. Friday, January 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, we need one more piece. Something else that's really cute to add to this, y'all. The spring supplies are coming out. You could add tulips to it. You've been making wreaths for any amount of time. You might have some leftover tulips. All right, let's get our carrots here. I'm going to start with the polka dot in the middle because these are two stripes. That way I'm separating the two stripes apart. And I'm going to start by putting this one at an angle. I'll kind of fix my ribbon. There we go, so you can see it. So my bow's not in the way. And once again, I'm going to really cram this down into the mesh. So it'll be good and secure. And then I'm going to come down over here a little bit. And I want mine so they look like they're standing up. I don't want it sticking out this way, so I'm going to kind of tilt this one a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. To put the blue back in, I chose to use some mushrooms to put some of the blue toward the outside. I'm not sure it needs the mushrooms, y'all. I'm not liking the mushrooms for this project. We're going to take that out. We'll save those for something else that is springy. Okay? But what we do need is a little bit more greenery and flowers, so we're going to do that with I love these picks. These are just the best. The mushrooms you can find at the Ribbon Shed. And don't forget, the Ribbon Shed is a Unique in the Creek distributor, so you'll be able to find your boards there as well. Alright, so instead of breaking these stems apart, we're just going to kind of space them out evenly and fan them out pretty good. Because otherwise, if we didn't fan them out, you want to fan them out really good, we'd have to break them apart. And, like, I don't want to do that. So I'm just really going to give a good fan apart. And I mean, fan it out, y'all. Then heavily hot glue. And adding these will be just the right touch. Finish this wreath. Because it'll give it just a little bit more greenery that it needs. Because it definitely needed just a little bit more greenery. And just a hint of flowers. I am so ready for more spring supplies to hit, y'all. I'm ready for flowers. I think that's kind of me. Like, I want to work on my spring stuff in the winter and my summer and my winter stuff in the summer. Kind of like a, you know, work on the cold stuff so I feel cool. Maybe. At least that's what I'll tell myself. I do start spring wreaths kind of early. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I forgot about the bunny ears. They're sitting way back there. Thank you for reminding me. I just saw them and went, crap. I'd have got off the live and I was cleaning up and moving stuff, and I would have been like, oh no. And I would have been very upset with myself. Thank you. They're sitting behind me, that's why I forgot. If they were on my work table, I would have remembered, but I sat them behind me to get them out of the way. And then it went to that out of sight, out of mind. Y'all know what I mean? Bunny ears. Okay. Do. So this will actually be fairly simple. We're going to kind of go under the bow at an angle. Not really, because the bunny butt is straight. So we're going to go straight on. And we're going to separate them out just a bit. So I kind of want to separate them out. Kind of parallel with the... And we're going to tuck them under the bow just a bit. Just a smidgen, my friends. Just a smidgen under the bow. And don't forget, we can pose the ears. Make them kind of cute. Which is what we're going to do. And this is one of the ways that I prefer to use the bunny butt wreath attachments, is to use the bow to hide the ear, to put the ears around and stuff, because I just think it's cuter than using like a sign like we do for some wreath attachments to break between the wreath attachment and the head. I think for the bunny, this is just so much cuter. So we're going to space the ears out evenly, my friends. That's the goal. So because we're spacing them out evenly, the other one is not going underneath the bow. I'll show you where I put them in just a second. I'm with Tina Kelly. Life is short. Eat the dessert. Alright, so let me flip this over and show y'all. Okay, so here's the bunny butt, just to recap. The ears are here and here. Okay, so here's your center hole, and the bunny butts are the ears are here and here. Sorry, they're here and here. That's where the ears are at. Okay, just space them out. Evenly. And the ears are heavily wired. So once you get them in place, you just kind of bend them and shape them to your taste. Ta-da! Isn't that cute, y'all? Alright, y'all, that's it for me tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I won't see y'all again till next week. You get Lori this weekend. You get her Friday, Saturday, and Sunday doing Valentine's wreath kits. Alright. Y'all have a great rest of the week, and I will see y'all next Wednesday. Same time, same channel. But I will let you know, I will not be live on YouTube from now on. From now on, lives will only be done on Facebook. That was an oopsie tonight, but you know, somebody needs to tell y'all that lives will only be done on Facebook from now on. Replays will be available on YouTube. See y'all next week. Like I said, have a great